Good Wednesday morning, running into your brand new day. Today, Wednesday, the 5th of November, 2025. Jason Williams signing on. I'm here with you till 8 a.m. Lots to discuss, lots to unpack. As always, on a Wednesday, we head to the sweet sister island. Well, you know, Tobago, it's Tobago Talks, and when Tobago Talk, we listen. And it's going to be a very interesting conversation because the minority leader will step in this morning. And it's really on the heels of, I would say, from at least my perspective, what seems to be a very successful first visit by the Prime Minister. And as I would have mentioned yesterday, clearly that collaboration, that very chummy relationship continues between the Prime Minister and the Chief Secretary. Port of Spain and Scarborough seem to be hand in hand. And I wonder what's going to be the strategy of the minority leader and those in his party to derail the momentum. It's going to be a really tall order. So we'll have that discussion and so much more inside today's program. But let's head to the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. And I'm asking the commissioner this morning a serious question. He suggests, and again, he will have the data, he says the U.S. strikes are working. Top Cup says Trump-led military action yielding success in TNT's drug fight. But this is a contradiction in itself because, okay, any particular result, any particular dent in the drug trade, we welcome it. But there are many far removed from our shores and those right within the Trinidad and Tobago border who deem what's happening in the Southern Caribbean Sea as unlawful and illegal, extrajudicial. So is it to say that we could celebrate a result even though it's done outside the context, outside the parameters of law? So is it to say that we as citizens could take it upon ourselves also to treat and deal with those who harass us in the community? I wonder if the folks who take that action, because again, whether a big superpower doing it or a community man doing it, the fact is wrong is wrong. You know, there's no gray area in that regard. So I find this to be rather weird and strange. And obviously, I haven't had a chance to interview the commissioner just yet. When he was on the program, I was overseas. I would love, at some point, when we get a chance to touch base. And I see the commissioner, he's really on the ground. This is one action. This is the Action Jackson commissioner. He understands the role and function and the optics and the fact that we as Trinbagonians love to see our commissioners, boots on the ground, on the field, in your face, as opposed to locked in our office under air condition. However, as a critical thinker and as someone looking at this through a very balanced lens and through the lens of law, I'm no legal luminary. I can't quote, legal text, but we could safely say that what's happening there in the Southern Caribbean Sea, it's unorthodox. Because if this was reversed, we as Trinbagonians, or any country in the region, or even if there was a collective CARICOM military force, we cannot go to Brickell Bay in Florida. We can't go to any particular waterfront or port or any waters within continental USA or close enough to, and blow up any boat and say, well, you know, well, that boat coming from Florida to bring drugs into the Caribbean, and we don't like it, and well, no, come on. I mean, it's go figure. So at the end of the day, we look at this development. Yes, it's yielding results, but I found that something probably you ought to speak out in the open because it's a contradiction. Because we can't celebrate something. It's almost like that in itself is giving a full green light and a thumbs up to extrajudicial killings. And I would imagine if anyone was to go through that within the local context, they will be meeting with the officers, the peace officers of the TTPS, and having to go before our courts. So we can't, you understand what I'm saying? It's a bit strange. I don't know. You'll probably share with me later on when we open up the lines, this particular development. Of course, another front page development, we mentioned yesterday the Prime Minister's visit to Tobago, clearly a successful one. Let's put this full page so we can get the true perspective. Now that's the PM there, hugging a young man, a student, And she pledges fair share for Tobago. There's also a call there for laptops for the school children. She's there, you know, all smiles. I mean, all the school children come out. It seems like it was a grand occasion. There was also a particular license giving Tobago the all clear to export and you know, really handle their stories, I would say, as we put it in local terms. Talk of a police force for Tobago. So many in terms of the promises and utterances there. You see the children all excited. I'll tell you this, if there's one thing the PM is able to do, and this is aside from the politics of the moment, there is this concept where people generally, especially the voting public and especially the young people, as we could see via the footage, people don't really care how much you know. They want to know how much you care. And that's something that was told to me from, well, by a great friend who's actually from Tobago. And when he said it, it dawned on me, and I said, you know, politicians, at least the good ones, or the ones who are able to play the politics and understand the optics of the moment. You see this picture here? Look again. You know, you're there hugging the children, you're in the mix. This is something that's able to resonate with many now. Sometimes people, that might be their lasting memory in terms of that interaction, and they tend to sometimes even forget the politics and your policies. So, again, a note to all in the public space, whether public sector representation or private sector representation, keep at the top of your mind that people sometimes don't really care how much you know, they want to know how much you care. And if there is that, just a semblance of care, somebody believe that, hey, this person might actually listen. They recognize me, they recognize my plight. And they're able to sometimes go over the line and help you out in a real way. Well, it's going to be hard to oust that particular person. And I'm just saying this based on what I've observed with the PM over the years, her interaction, especially with the children and other people in the community. It's an interesting game. It's one of those games where, I mean, we'll never know if it's genuine. Only the PM and her creator would know, but the reality is there are many, and the great ones, the great politicians, the great ones here at home and even overseas, they understand the optics and understand the moment. So found that to be, again, as mentioned, what we can safely see from our standpoint. It looks like a rather successful first visit. We'll see if that momentum and that relationship and all the smiles and chummy movement remains in the months and years to come. Let's head to the back page. We could safely say congrats there to the West Indies. I've been reliably informed. I didn't get to see the game, but the team is telling me we had a victory this morning in New Zealand against the Kiwis. 7 runs, I believe, a 7-run victory. We could confirm? Yes, indeed. So we're off to a great start. And this is on the heels of the series win in Bangladesh. Granted, we didn't do too good in the, well, for some reason, like, when it comes to the 2020 and stuff, we test, and 50 overs is a challenge. 2020, we much better. But Kiwis, tough team, top team. I think they are ranked like number 4 in the world. So at least we're off to a great start, and we want to congratulate the men in maroon. Of course, back page is also showing some Champions League action. This was a game yesterday between PSV and Olympiacos. It ended 1-1. Another notable victory yesterday was for Bayern Munich against PSG in France, and they went down to 10 men, and Liverpool got the better of Real Madrid, second time in a row, well, second season in this new format, Champions League group stage. So more action today for those who love their football, and indeed we implore you to not only focus on the international football, but we have to focus on what's happening at home with our Trinidad and Tobago Premier League, our professional league, and more so what's happening with our national team, because we come up against Jamaica November 13th at the Hazel Crawford Stadium. Not this week, next week. And this is the do or die. It's more or less, I mean, right now we're on live support, to be quite honest. However, as Coach York says, it ain't over till it's over. Once you could still work the maths, which will mean us winning this game and winning against Bermuda, the final 2 games, you never know, because something could happen elsewhere. It's not so much in our hands anymore, but there is still that chance for us to get over the line. So I'll be there, full support for the team and full support for Coach York, and we wish them the best going forward. Let's see how things pan out in this, the last lap of World Cup Qualifier 2026. We are to the brief on this Wednesday morning. Christmas is in the air, and you know when the malls start to decorate, you start to feel it. And there are certain malls that really go all out, and one mall in particular, Long Circular Mall, for years, they've had amazing decorations, and they have the space. Remember, they have a very high roof, that area by the escalator, so they could have stuff suspended, massive decorations over the years. They go all out. I don't want to mention any others today, because when we feature them, then we'll, I don't want to do any comparisons. I want to put the focus here this morning on Long Circular Mall, and I want to congratulate them for yet again going all out. Our friends in the Southland, they know where they go to really get the wow effect. And as mentioned, we will treat with that during the course of the days and weeks ahead leading up to Christmas. Even other malls here within the northwestern part of the country, of course in the east. I ain't going to call no mall name, but trust me, you know. If you know, you know. But I must say, we go all out, and it gives you a sense of, it creates a mood for the children. You get that warm feeling, and, well, sometimes people end up shopping. You end up shopping more than you should. The music playing, the decorations, that people get into this mood around Christmas time. All right, so that's the brief, and also I would certainly say kudos to Dr. Everell Hussein. Celebrated his 40th consecutive New York City Marathon last Sunday, and the man is 80 years old. 80 years old, running a marathon for the last 40 years, and marathon, and trust me, that is what, 26 miles? I ran a half marathon, and I had to take nearly 3-4 days recovery, knee hurting, back, I walking stiff, and that was a half marathon. That was the UE half, and that's 13. So I could only imagine a whole marathon, like that full complement. So to you, Mr. Hussein, congratulations, well done. Edie Stewart, he joins me because we're getting into that discussion regarding healthcare initiatives, and Edie would have made some commentary recently, and it was refuted by one of the chairmans of the regional authorities, and we want to treat with that particular issue, the silent protest, and more so the nursing shortage. Edie Stewart joins me next.
Influencers don't sleep. Their whole waking life is a dream, a get-rich-quick money scheme. Bring your mobby pockets and get champagne. Drink up and come again. Watch celebrity investor cruising high. Honey does catch more than fly. It's how they're looking like AI. Fake profile set up to fool. Lucky I have sense and went to school. Rock so champagne, man, I ain't no tool. All of this looks so sus. I sipping my tea. That mark, bound to bust. Put money and get back double plus. Tell me, does that sound right? Take in front before in front take you. That is what the TTSEC is here for, to help protect investors like you and me. Check them at ttsec.org.tt. Make a complaint or file an anonymous tip. Take my advice and just don't stick.
The Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. You invest, we protect, everyone benefits.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services. We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance, but we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, Endeavour Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Feeling drained, run down, or just not at your best? Your body might be missing key nutrients it needs to fight back. This powerful blend delivers high-dose vitamin C for immune defense, vitamin B6 and B12 for energy and brain support, and essential minerals like magnesium, zinc, and potassium to help your body recharge and recover. Whether you're fighting stress, supporting immunity, or bouncing back from a workout, this formula has your back. Fuel your cells, boost your immunity, feel the difference.
Healthcare close to home. I commissioned the Scarborough Hospital. Right now, Scarborough Hospital remains the island's center of care. I'm advised by my Minister of Health that the cardiac cath lab is being recommissioned, and that's a very important cath lab to have on the island. The government of India has promised us some sea ambulances. I'm still awaiting them. But I know you'll be very happy that should your loved ones here fall ill, that we will have the sea ambulance right away to take them across and bring them back. So I look forward to that happening. And I'm on the case of my Minister of Foreign Affairs to make sure we get those sea ambulances at the earliest. So the cath lab here, emergency, transport, telemedicine, and specialist recruitment are expanding, working to expand access.
Edie Stewart joins me this morning, president of the TT and the Nurses Association. And Edie, I must say, your name, it's been calling. Within recent time, I saw you, at least some of your commentary, a major source of debate. I saw the chairman of the NCRHA, Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, inserting himself and refuting some of your claims, and some of the claims would have been the shortage of staff. We'll give you a chance to expand on that this morning, but I'm hearing also, beyond the shortage of staff, there's also a shortage of beds at some of our institutions. I want you to give me the latest and probably your reaction to the fact that your commentary created this firestorm, as it were, Edie. Welcome to the program, as always. Great to see you.
Pleasant morning to you and your listeners. Thanks for having me. The association really is alarmed in the first instance that the NCRHA, and in particular the chairman, would refute the claims that they are short-staffed. It's really mind-boggling. Every other RHA admits that they are short-staffed. The number one RHA that is critically short-staffed and ought not to be defending that they are properly staffed is the NCRHA. In fact, the Minister of Health, the current Minister of Health, has admitted that they are short of in excess of 1,600 nursing personnel. 1,600 nursing personnel in Trinidad and Tobago. Our estimate is much larger than that. And the members of the public would have really been aware that the association has been lobbying for this for quite some time, for us to improve the nursing numbers within Trinidad and Tobago. And we have articulated this primarily because every single successive commissioner of inquiry into healthcare, every report ever laid in Parliament, every investigation ever done into any deaths, including the recent PAHO report into the NICU deaths at Port of Spain, have highlighted one consistent factor that has led to these negative effects with our patients, and that is a shortage of nursing staff. So if the chairman, Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, is refuting the association statements, he has to also refute PAHO report, Gladys Gufo Commission of Inquiry report, the Simongal report. Every single report from since time immemorial has indicated that we are woefully inadequate. And additionally, the international literature is clear. You ought to have at least one registered nurse to 4 or 5 patients, depending on the acuity level of that patient. One registered nurse to 4 or 5 patients. Dr. Tim Gopi Singh and the communications department, I really can't understand how they could actually have put that out. But in their press release, and I would want to reiterate, I don't want to misquote them, because I'm sure relatives who would have lost loved ones over the weekend and who continue to lose lost ones in Eric Williams Medical Science Complex and other institutions under the purview of NCRHA, they would be saving that press release sent out by the NCRHA, where NCRHA admitted that there was one nurse on duty to see about patients on the ward. Imagine that. Imagine an authority admitting on paper in their press release that yes, 4 wards were only staffed by 1 nurse. These wards average between 24 to 34 patients. On average, that is the bed capacity in NCRHA wards. And they are admitting in their press release that they are one. And what is worse, what is even worse for the association is that they are saying that cannot be attributed to a reduction in the quality of care of patients. So the international community is saying for you to deliver safe and effective care, you need 1 RN to 5 patients. NCRHA is saying, no, we can have 1 RN deal with 24 patients. And there's something magic where we go up 6-fold of what the international standard is, and no harm will come to our patients. And then worse yet, to add insult to injury, they are also saying that their best practice, their highest standards is 2 nurses. 2 nurses.
So beyond
that is where
beyond the human capital issue, I'm watching even with equipment. I've been reliably informed. I have some sources, and they would have established to me that the San Fernando gynecology section where they deal with the newborns, it's more or less 3 CTG machines, and on a given day, sometimes you could have about 30 patients at that particular ward within the hospital. Is this something exclusive to San Fernando? Have you heard these reports in other hospitals across the country or even Tobago?
What we are witnessing really and truly is the larger RHAs are really struggling with not only human resource, but physical infrastructure and also consumables. Every manageable consumable is running short in a number of these institutions.
Give me an example. What will be a consumable?
Pampers, Inco pads, syringes, needles, and the list is long and winding. And nurses have to be very resourceful to utilize, and they really ought not to be doing it, sir, because I remember a time in same Eric Williams, Mount Hope Women's Hospital, where nurses were trying to be resourceful and it placed them in hot water. And I don't know if persons remember, the incubators was not working in Mount Hope Women's Hospital. A number of the incubators that keeps these neonates warm when they have been born. And one of the incubators weren't working. And what nurses used to do is heat up some hot water packs and place it in the incubator to keep the baby warm, trying to improvise, because that's what nurses do. We see what is the problem, we try to improvise because the administration is not providing the necessary equipment. And unfortunately, one of those bags would have ruptured and burnt the baby. and the nurses that were involved were terminated. Imagine that. You tried your best to try to mitigate what is happening because the administrator is not doing their work, and then you are held liable. Thankfully, those nurses would have taken legal action and were able to successfully overturn that decision in the courts. But that goes to show, and we would want to remind nursing personnel, because we know it's still happening, because nurses are really so empathetic and they would want the best for their patients. So they try to navigate these treacherous waters. Yeah?
Edie, walk me through a silent protest I'm hearing. What is it going to be? When, where, and how do you think this will impact the current reality within the sector?
Well, nursing and midwifery personnel, we really don't like to protest. And we really hardly ever protest. And it's not really a protest, it's just a silent demonstration of our dissatisfaction with what is happening in the healthcare space, and particularly within Eric Williams Medical Science Complex. When nursing and midwifery protests, bad things happen. It is undeniable. One of the largest protests ever took place, demonstration, was way back in the 90s when nurses did some innovative protesting. And within a short space of time, we had the coup at that time, the coup. Another time, nurses protest, a prime minister passed away. So nurses really, there's something that when we're upset and we get angry and we begin to demonstrate, it's a mirror image of what is going on in society. So a number of things happen. So what we plan to do is silently, not disrupting any activities in the workplace, and seeing that Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, the chairman of the board, which is quite unusual. You don't necessarily hear chairmen of the board taking the role of the CEO for operational issues. And if I was to ask anyone in the public right now, who's the chairman of Northwest, they would not know. Who's the chairman of Southwest, they would not know. Who's the chairman of Eastern, they would not know. Because that is not the role of chairman. That is the role of CEO to treat with these matters. The chairman are not executive chairman. Yeah. So that is a very concern. So we'll be just walking through the hospital and highlighting our concerns in a non-combative way.
Understood.
And we hope to do that on this coming Friday at 11 during the nurses' lunch hour.
Let me ask you, as it pertains to our sister island, our brothers and sisters in Tobago, we heard the Prime Minister's utterance about getting a sea ambulance, a sea ambulance from India, and promises to enhance their health sector, their particular structure there. Your take on the development, is a sea ambulance something that will be applicable? Could that help and assist with taking patients back and forth, as it were, in the open waters?
I see no harm in it. I see no harm in it. If that donation does materialize, I would have listened to the Prime Minister indicated, you know, the Prime Minister of India would have mentioned it. She too is awaiting it. So if it does materialize, I see no harm in it. And I'm not sure how it's going to work, because generally for emergencies in Tobago, they normally rush those patients via air ambulance, as one may call it. They generally take the helicopter over to Trinidad and Tobago. So it may mean a reduction in cost. I don't know how the cost factor would work. It would be slower, of course, than the helicopter, which goes directly to the facility. So Eric Williams, for instance, have a helipad, and the person will be flown direct to that helipad in Eric Williams, and they will be dead. You know, they will be in the hospital within in a quick time. I don't know how the sea ambulance is going to operate. I guess a lot of logistics has to take place, and understanding it will be a longer duration. So we are waiting to see how that will pan out. I guess added, one of the things that we we have found over the years is when equipment on a whole, consumables on a whole, when they come not really designed for our environment, not really designed for our infrastructure, a lot of retrofitting has to take place. A number of the instructions are normally the language it comes from, so a lot of and you often see that a lot of the equipment that the Chinese send down, it's still in their language, and we have to bring them down to service it. So I can see those issues rearing its head again in terms of this Indian donation, but definitely it would be, I'm assuming if it does come, something positive for the island.
Edie, really fast before we wrap things up, I've always wanted to ask, what's the current working relationship like between nurses and doctors? And are nurses allowed to go against a particular instruction from a doctor if they don't feel comfortable with that said instruction? Sometimes I've heard, again, this is through sources, that the interaction is less than complimentary in some regards. Not all the time, obviously. I think doctors, obviously, because of their, I would imagine, studies and their professional expertise, would want to take command of the room and the space. But do nurses have that authority, as it were? Do they have the ability to tell a doctor, okay, I'm not feeling this particular instruction, and I'd rather go about it a different way, based on their own personal experience?
And you know, ironically, I actually teach that part-time to students. Because nurses do have that power. Unfortunately, over the years, that power has been eroded in Trinidad and Tobago. And what we are seeing is a nurse dare not go against a doctor's orders. And persons would have seen that up in San Fernando General Hospital with the death of baby Francois, where the nurse highlighted whatever issue to the doctor, and the doctor said, no, we'll continue administering that medication. So it is really unfortunate nursing has reached that point that we do not feel confident, and it's really, to some extent, our own nursing management has placed us in that precarious position where you bring this issue. Look, I disagree with this particular doctor's instructions. I believe it's unsafe for the patient, and the doctor is insisting, and they go to the management, and the management say, well, follow the dictates of the doctor, and negative things happen. But as you rightfully indicated, fortunately, it's not it is a systemic problem, but a lot of our doctors are very well trained, very listen to the nursing personnel, the majority of them. The majority of them won't take the advice of nursing personnel. Some of nursing personnel are working longer in the unit than the doctor. So definitely it will be wise for the doctor to take a lot of the advice from the nursing personnel. But unfortunately, there are those instances where nurses interface with doctors who have become complex, as we say, and will make that nurse lose their job if they only go against them. Yes, there's that instance.
Well, President Stewart, I want to thank you as always for the time, for touching base with us, giving some clarity on these major issues, and let's see how things pan out, and hopefully we'll get a chance to touch base soon, and I hope there is good news and some improvements within the space when we get a chance to connect again. All the best.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
That's right, Edie Stewart touching base with us. We're going to transition immediately after the break and get into another impactful talking point with Gary Griffith. He joins me because we are treating with the Tobago policing initiatives. That's right. And regional tensions, the geopolitical uncertainty. Gary Griffith joins us next.
CNC3 Limited, the Caribbean's largest manufacturers of plain and printed paper bags, leaders in plastic bags, vermicelli, split piece powder, and greaseproof paper, ideal for doubles, french fries, and sandwiches. Supplying stores nationwide. For quality products, trust CNC3 Limited, 665-3336.
I have been shopping at Price Club from the beginning. I love most of all the friendliness of the staff.
I shop here because my children love meat and I love
My favorite section is the vegetarian section. They have such a wide variety, which I love.
I have been out shopping, to check out the prices, but here at the Lewis, it's the best.
I have tried other places and I came right back to Price Club because they are the low price leader.
At Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center, we're all about time. In fact, once you check in, there's no time to lose. Reconnect with a little family time. Make a splash with some pool time. Spend some treasured quality time. Or just immerse yourself in some quiet time. Indulge your senses at dinner time. We even have the perfect venue when it's your celebration time. So it's high time you visit Cruise Inn. Choose our day pass or call 607-4000 to make your dinner or hotel reservations or to find out more about our event spaces. Take a time out at Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center.
The detergent smells nice while washing, but when you use the new Downy Intense fabric softener, with its new multi-capsule fragrance, it releases an intense scent that lasts twice as long. With the new Downy Intense, you'll enjoy a rich and delightful fragrance that keeps you feeling fresh 24/7.
Now this is Radical Trading, you know that? And them have everything to cover anything. Radical Trading have the best fabric designs for your upholstery needs, yeah? So furniture, car, boat, tent, even material for school bag.
This one looks really nice on my couch, boy.
They even making pillow too.
Sprang.
Oui.
Oh shucks, I forget my money.
Serious?
They could pay for it for me.
Me and my big mouth boy, I want a Radical get thing to cover mouth yet.
Radical Trading, 4 locations nationwide.
Growing your food business begins here at Southern Food Basket Wholesale Distribution Center. The turnaround is fast, from container to cold storage to pickup trucks. And when we deliver, product integrity is maintained with our highly respected vehicle-powered chilling systems. So come on down to Southern Food Basket Wholesale Distribution Center, where a whole new experience awaits.
TT 5.5 million is being invested in Tobago's safety network to start with. A new mounted and canine branch is being built at Shivan Hall, and the anti-crime unit at Old Grange is being upgraded. The Mount St. George Police Youth Club, I'm told, is being refurbished. Defense and Coast Guard facilities and the Crown Point Fire Station are being modernized. Meanwhile, my government supports the idea of there being a localized police force in Tobago. In the same way that all municipal corporations in Trinidad benefit from such arrangements. I'm advised by the Commissioner of Police and the Chief Secretary discussed this matter with the Commissioner when he was recently on the island. We will work with you.
Well, to elaborate on that major talking point, we welcome former Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith. He joins me on the Zoom line. Great to see you, Gary. Good morning, and thanks for the time as always.
Always my pleasure. Good morning to you and to your many viewers.
How do we make what the Prime Minister mentioned yesterday at the Assembly become a reality? What's the steps, if you could walk me through in chronological order, to ensure that Tobago gets their own police force, similar to what we see with the corporations and the municipal police that the likes of Port of Spain and we see San Juan and Chaguanas and these places enjoy?
Well, I certainly can't see anyone rubbishing it. I can't see anyone questioning it or criticizing it. It's common sense. Obviously, the more manpower strength you will get, it is not in any way that you could say that it is a bad move. I think what they are trying to do, and rightly so, is to equate what Trinidad has, which is the municipal police, which is separate and apart from the operational control of the Office of the Commissioner of Police. And in the municipal police, they now come under the control more so of, like, similar to the mayors and so forth in the regional corporations. Tobago does not have that. So what is it going to do? It is going to allow these police officers now to be under the purview of the THA, and it allows them now to be able to put focus on dealing with traffic, dealing with the streets in Scarborough and so forth, dealing with events and functions that THA may have. So it gives the THA some degree of operational authority outside of having the Commissioner of Police or the Divisional Commander in Tobago have to be responsible for those things. And I'm not saying those are matters that are too small for the police, but it allows the TTPS now to put focus much more on the basic elements of what you dealing with traffic and monitoring the streets and so forth, and it allowed the TTPS officers stationed in Tobago to put more emphasis in crime reduction. So it is excellent. The other comments she made as it pertained to refurbishing buildings, refurbishing stations, repairs to other buildings, that is all expected, and again, it is good that it is being done. I think some of these things have been discarded for the last few years. But so it is a step in the right direction. But I think what we also need to see is out of the box thinking as it pertains to things that can be done to keep Tobago safe. I think it is really in the right direction. It has to do, you can see it is transformational leadership, where the change of the persons who have taken over the responsibility for security in Tobago, the police service, as soon as that changed, you saw the turnaround. And it's not to criticize the persons who were there before, but it gives that aspect of the individuals there, that leadership by example. I could go quickly to the re-establishment of the Emergency Response Patrol or the Rapid Response Unit, which Kamala Prasad-Bisesa was aware of that Tobago had, which ensured an immediate response. An operational command center that was there before that is no longer there, to be able to monitor the CCTVs, to ensure that the police officers can have an immediate response. The increase of 400 CCTVs, we have not heard about that. We put more CCTVs in the areas of, in Storby and those areas where there's a heavy presence of persons in events and so forth. And then now, with that, now you can have that safe city model. The ports in Tobago, all of the drugs and the illegal weapons and the gangs, they were migrating from Trinidad to Tobago. But what is unfortunate is that somebody will go on a boat to Tobago, you have to go through a walk-through scanner. But your vehicle could have about 50 guns and it could drive right through onto the vessel and not be in check. That is why it is we needed to make sure that we were putting in the port scanners, the K9s. We have a 999 system. I don't know if you're aware. You call 999 in Tobago, it has to go to Trinidad to be fed, and then the information is now fed back to a station in Tobago. That is totally ridiculous. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong. That is what was there up until just recently. What is required is you call 999 whilst in Tobago, it could immediately be fed to an operational command center for an immediate response. Additionally, the implementation of an establishment of that border protection unit to keep Tobago safer. Coast Guard requires a long-range patrol vessel as well, which is something that when we acquired the Damin vessels under Kamala Prasad-Bisesa, one of the vessels was actually named to be stationed in Tobago, and it has never been done. It is because of the resources not being provided. And finally, to provide the support for the police marine branch, where they don't even have a 25-foot pirogue, which is where the previous prime minister said he wanted it, and then it was never established. That police marine branch, working in tandem with the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, would assist greatly in security in Tobago.
Let me ask really fast before I move on to the next talking point. Under this municipal structure for the police service in Tobago, if anyone runs afoul of the working structure, anybody drops the ball, and we have to hold them accountable, does that same municipal structure do so, or do we have to come back to Port of Spain with the bureau there, the investigative body like PC and others to treat with anybody who drops the ball?
Well, again, it is how it is to be drafted. We would not know. I would believe that it is going to be under the same process as the municipal police. And with that now, again, as I said, whereas in Trinidad, the mayor and so forth, and the chairman of the regional corporations, they have administrative and operational responsibility per se. So you'll have the mayor in Port of Spain direct them to deal with matters in Woodford Square and so forth. And again, there would be a chain of command. The unfortunate thing with that is something that it affected the municipal police, and it still has. There is no control in any form or fashion with the Office of the Commissioner of Police. So a lot of things are done in the municipal police. There's always a shortage of uniforms, training, equipment, technology, and the TTPS cannot provide that for them because they are outside of the establishment of the TTPS. It is hoped that some type of synergy could be arranged this time around when it is being drafted to prevent this new arm in the policing under the THA not to be totally separate and apart from the TTPS, but to work in tandem with the TTPS. Because if that happens, sometimes you even get confrontation, you get duplication of effort, you get the TTPS making a decision to have police officers in a location, the THA might make the decision, and then all of a sudden you have a double whammy when it is because there was no coordination. If that is done, it is going to enhance the operational capability, the productivity of this new unit in the police service under the THA in Tobago.
Understood. Gary, I want to take it to the Guardian's headline this morning, Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. The Commissioner of Police, Commissioner Guevara, says U.S. strikes working. The Top Cup says Trump-led military action yielding success in TNT's drug fight. However, many legal minds from abroad and right here at home suggest that the actual approach to blowing up these boats in the southern Caribbean waters, it's unlawful. It goes beyond the threshold of what's considered, maritime law, local law, extrajudicial. It's what it's being called. So isn't that a kind of contradiction in itself that we can? Is it okay to celebrate something that's considered illegal even though it's yielding results?
Well, you want to talk about the irony. This was the same situation where we had the Special Operation Response Team where certain police officers misled the United States and Amory Brown to state that SWOT was involved in extrajudicial killing. And they claimed the United States blacklisted SWOT, even though not one person in SWOT was ever even questioned for extrajudicial killing. So they claimed the same United States wanted a unit in the police service that was instrumental in putting an end to kidnapping, home invasion, extortion, dealing with the same situations of drugs and human trafficking, child prostitution. It was shut down because of lies by a few rogue officers in the police service and that caused the U.S. to say that SWOT should be shut down because of extrajudicial killing. And now we say the same U.S. now is being accused of extrajudicial killing. My take on this whole matter is that we need to step back a little and understand that all of this that is taking place, this is outside of our exclusive economic zone. It is outside of our CARICOM waters. So yes, CARICOM is concerned, but they are concerned about something involving two countries that we have there's nothing that we can do. So the perception, and this is my personal view, the perception being made that Kamala Persad-Bissessar and Trinidad and Tobago, we are involved in supporting extrajudicial killing. It is difficult to state that because up to now we do not have, there's no fact, there's no evidence, because what is happening, the United States may very well have enough intelligence to verify what is taking place. It goes right back Trinidad and Tobago to this statement being made by CARICOM leaders and persons about a zone of peace. You're calling it a zone of peace, yet over 50% of the top 10 countries in the world, as it pertains to murders per 100,000, are countries from the Caribbean. So in CARICOM, so we have more murders in the Caribbean, in countries, than countries that actually involved in armed conflict. And then when we speak about zone of peace and extrajudicial killing and invading persons' territorial waters, La Guardian National is one, they have done that for years, attacking our fishermen, seizing their catch, seizing their fish, seizing their vessels. And then when it is, we have not been able to go back and check and see what this whole thing is about. What this started is Venezuela accusing Trinidad and Tobago, stating that we are harboring terrorists. Two, they then stated that it is being used as a launching pad to destabilize Venezuela. Three, they then put a shot across our bow. They drew first blood by stating that they will go anywhere in the world to extract these persons, which was a clear and present signal that they intended to invade Trinidad and Tobago. You have referred to our prime minister as a drunkard. You have referred to our prime minister as being persona non grata, which is disrespect to our country. You have stated you do not want to work with us involved in anything with the energy sector. You have been so fast resolution out of place to say that we had no right to allow a U.S. vessel to enter our territorial waters. You then have another minister stating that how it gives you the right to do what you want now based on what is being done by Trinidad and Tobago. And now you have their leader referring to the prime minister as a warmonger. All of these things everybody is staying quiet about. Let me be clear on this in just one sentence. If the United States pulls out, I am not here to justify what the U.S. is doing, because that can very well be decided upon by the International Criminal Court years from now. But the present situation, if the United States pulls out of the Southern Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago is going to suffer. Because I can assure the citizens of this country, I was bombarded with calls on Friday because of poor communication, because the Minister of Homeland Security said is not his right to make people feel calm if it is that it is not justified. I can assure you that if that Venezuela cannot and will not throw a stone in the direction of Trinidad and Tobago once the United States is in the Southern Caribbean. That is how it works, because the United States is fully aware, and Venezuela, that that is going to be the signal and the excuse to be used by the United States to invade Venezuela. So to all citizens of this country, all the haters of Kamala or the lovers of Kamala, I am dealing from facts that if Venezuela cannot and would not lay a finger on Trinidad and Tobago whilst the United States is there. Well, if the United States ever pulls out, they may very well get back to their actions of which they initially intended by their statements a few months ago.
Well, Gary, I think obviously when we look at the facts and we go even further, before all this drama transpired, we recognize that Guaido, who would have gone up against Maduro some years ago, was recognized by our current Prime Minister, who was opposition leader at the point in time. So I'm thinking that even back then, the wheels would have been turning with this discord and this distrust, as it were, with our Venezuelan neighbors who are 7 miles removed.
It is possible, and there's where that line in the sand could have been drawn. But again, when you were actually listening to the actual results and so forth, it gave many persons outside of Venezuela, other than probably David Abdullah, the impression that the person who did that the election was actually rigged. And it is the right of a country to believe so. If it is that Maduro is now presently the de facto leader, whether it is rightly done or not, he has to be recognized. But I think that yes, the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, may have been a little aggressive, and coming from me, that says a lot, because that my style is do it to them before they do it to you. But I think when it is that when you're in that position of authority, and you see that you're being threatened, you're being targeted, you're being pointed at, and to the point, it can go back to this may very well be the reason why. So as much as people may pick sides on all of that, at the end of the day, we would have seen prime ministers in CARICOM were very close to Dr. Rowley and Patrick Manning. But when the prime minister changed, you couldn't say, well, it is you were close to Rowley, so I'm not going to negotiate or speak to you. You've got to have that mutual respect, and that is what must happen. So even though Trinidad and Tobago may have sided with the opposition, may have sided with the opposition leader in Venezuela, it doesn't matter. That is their right. But at this time, I think what is required is for us to be calm, to be controlled about it. CARICOM needs to circle the wagons and not be pointing fingers at each other. CARICOM to state that Trinidad and Tobago is not adherent to the zone of peace, it is totally ridiculous. As I said, the zone of peace could only happen if it is that our international allies could protect us. The United States have been very instrumental in providing equipment, resources, technology, training, and without that, all hell will break loose as it pertains to drugs, illegal weapons, human trafficking in CARICOM.
Gary, really fast before we wrap things up, we have about a minute again, so if you can give me a really sharp response. I'm looking at the current build-up. It's about 8 aircraft carriers, 11 warships, 1 nuclear-powered submarine, and 10,000 personnel in Puerto Rico. And as we speak, the Gerald Ford, it's on its way. It should arrive in the next, from what I'm seeing, 5 to 6 days, so by next week, the most advanced military asset in the U.S. Army will be docked in the southern Caribbean seas. I doubt these guys are making that trip from the Mediterranean to this part of the world for a boat ride and to take a picture of the sunset. What's your personal feeling on the next couple of weeks probably in a minute's time. You think something is really going to jump off, Gary, or this is just military flexing?
Yeah, so what the United States is doing, this is typical military strategy. They are flexing muscles to show to Venezuela, look, we are in control of this situation. We do not like what you're doing, and you need to actually sing to our tune. Venezuela will be forced to eventually cave in and adhere to what the United States is wishing. I don't know if that means the stepping down of the president or anything like that. But again, I wish to explain again, without that U.S. presence, Trinidad and Tobago, we can be under threat. There's a clear and present danger of Venezuela. They have accused, they've made the statement of Guyana, they've made the statement of Trinidad and Tobago of possible invasion. And thankfully, so to all the haters of the United States, understand that armada that is here, that is what is protecting Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago will not be touched whilst the U.S. remains in the Southern Caribbean.
Gary, sincere thanks as always. Let's touch base soon and we monitor all the developments. Clearly some uncharted waters ahead, but I hope that, as I said, military posturing, and we'll see how the pieces move in the days and weeks ahead. All the best, Gary.
Take care. Bye-bye.
That's right, Gary Griffith touching base with us. We're getting ready for the 7 a.m. news update. We come back with your daily health tip, your calls, and then later on, Tobago Talks. When Tobago Talk, we listen. The second hour is action-packed. See you soon, TNT.
Make home yours every day with Courts. Oh, yeah. Oh. Get value for your money. Courts have the best quality. Home is what you make it. Best prices and good credit. Courts have it all.
Courts has what you need to make home yours. You can get it all with easy payment plans using Courts Ready Finance. Courts, make home yours.
Good morning, I'm Keyshawn Haynes with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC radio network. Opposition leader Penelope Beckles says Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister Gaston Brown's suggestion that Trinidad and Tobago may be in breach of the Treaty of Chaguaramas should not be dismissed. At a media conference yesterday, Beckles responded to Brown's concerns over the recent increase in import duties on selected CARICOM products by the Trinidad and Tobago government. Brown stressed the importance of protecting regional integration efforts, cautioning that weakening trade relations could fragment rather than strengthen the regional bloc. Beckles said she agreed that the issue must be treated seriously, comparing its significance to ongoing geopolitical tensions involving Venezuela and the United States.
We understand the significance of trading with our CARICOM partners. It is very easy for the Honorable Prime Minister to say that you're going to look for markets elsewhere. But when we think about the vessel USS Ford coming into the region, and so many people have this feeling that something is likely to take place in our region, do you really think that people are going to come and invest?
Beckles also fired back at Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar over statements accusing the People's National Movement of protecting drug traffickers, calling the claims reckless and inflammatory. Beckles condemned the accusation as baseless and irresponsible and urged the Prime Minister to take any accusations or evidence to law enforcement.
The Prime Minister should withdraw that allegation and apologize, because the time has come for this use of inflammatory language consistently whenever you're under pressure, when you are clueless about governance, you want to put the blame on the People's National Movement. And that needs to stop.
A Williamsville family of 10, including 3 children, are now homeless after a fire destroyed their home yesterday. Thankfully, no one was injured in the blaze, but one family member who suffers from hypertension fell ill and was taken to the hospital. The blaze broke out around 10 o'clock at Puran Street on the upper floor of the 2-story building. 35-year-old Rashina Muhammad Ali says the upstairs of the house comprises 2 bedrooms and one was there at the time of the fire. She says she was downstairs doing school revision with her son while other relatives were doing chores when she suddenly heard a loud noise.
When I wanted to see the curtain was on fire, so I started to pull the hose to out it. And then when Perry running, because Perry had already running and run upstairs to see if it was just the curtain. But when he see the whole house, he set the whole house on fire. So we lost everything.
Anyone willing to assist the family can contact 355-4449. The Elections and Boundaries Commission says it is ready for the Tobago House of Assembly election, which is expected to be called soon. Chief Elections Officer of the Elections and Boundaries Commission, Fern Narcissus, confirmed to CNC3 News that preparatory work has already begun, including training for returning officers. The EBC is expected to release the latest electoral figures for Tobago once the THA is dissolved and an election date is announced. The current THA term ends on December 6th.
And also appreciate that the THA is following almost on the heels of a general election. So that there would have been some preparatory work that has already been done for that election that, of course, is relevant in this election as well. So we are ready, and the preparations, or certainly those things that would engage the notice of the public, you will start to see shortly once the election is announced.
Those were your 7 a.m. headlines. We'll have another news update at the top of the hour on the TBC Radio Network.
PRW's Thanksgiving sale is now on this November. We're giving thanks to God and all of our local customers. Up to 75% discount on selected items. Join us for our Family Fun Day on the 4th of November at our Orangwes location. Come, have a fun day with us and enjoy refreshments, free giveaways, games, and massive discounted prices. Tell your family and friends. Call us today at 285-9779.
Downy Unstoppables are laundry scent boosters. Add a capful before each wash and you'll be amazed. The blast of freshness that lasts and lasts. Whoa, what a blast! Even at the end of the day, you'll still be enjoying that blast of freshness in your clothes. Downy Unstoppables, the blast of freshness that lasts and lasts.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chancatrace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
PRW's Thanksgiving sale is now on this November. We're giving thanks to God and all of our local customers. Up to 75% discount on selected items. Join us for our Family Fun Day on the 4th of November at our Orangwes location. Come, have a fun day with us and enjoy refreshments, free giveaways, games, and massive discounted prices. Tell your family and friends. Call us today at 285-9779.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Food Basket. Food Basket, nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh produce and everything fantastic. For everyday low price, things real nice. Come in once, but to come back twice. Wholesale, retail, everything for you. A real much wanna shop for go view. Food Basket, the nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh produce and everything fantastic. Food Basket, hypermarket, Arima, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
Welcome back. 7 minutes after 7 on this Wednesday morning. Let's check in with our daily health tip. Enjoy.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth. Chronic inflammation doesn't just strike at random. It's also a central factor in arthritis, specifically rheumatoid arthritis. This autoimmune disorder turns the body's defenses against itself, attacking the joints and causing persistent inflammation. This leads to swollen, painful joints and can significantly impair daily activities. The inflammation associated with rheumatoid arthritis doesn't only damage joints, but can also affect other organs and lead to widespread symptoms. Over time, the chronic inflammation can cause the cartilage in the joints to degrade, resulting in loss of mobility and chronic pain. Combating this type of inflammation involves several proactive steps. Medications can reduce inflammation and slow disease progression. Physical therapy also plays a key role in maintaining joint function and reducing pain. Moreover, lifestyle changes, such as adopting an anti-inflammatory diet rich in antioxidants and omega-3 fatty acids, can help manage symptoms. Regular exercise tailored to personal capacity helps maintain joint flexibility and strength, while also fighting off inflammation. Additionally, reducing stress through mindfulness, meditation, or gentle yoga can also decrease the body's inflammatory responses. By understanding how chronic inflammation contributes to arthritis and actively managing these symptoms, individuals can preserve their joint health and improve their quality of life. With the right strategies, living with arthritis can be more manageable. This health tip was brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong. The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Where health is wealth. Give thanks. Let's take that pause and we come back with much more. See you soon.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Are you tired of the same old boring drive home from work? Look no further. Get ready for the ultimate after-work rush with Freedom 106.5 FM's The Overdrive with Davey. Mondays to Fridays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let Davey take you on a thrilling ride of non-stop entertainment and education. He covers the topics of the day, delves into the latest food and lifestyle trends, and brings dynamic guests from exciting professions to share their professional stories and experiences. Take advantage of this energizing and engaging experience. Tune into Freedom 106.5 FM, Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for The Overdrive with Davey, the ultimate way to end your day with a bang.
My own personal motto is to show citizens of this country that our stories can be told in a professional and international standard. I want to show them that the journalism they consume on cable TV can also exist here. Each day, that's my focus, that's my drive, to show the stories of our communities, of our people, matter just as much as anywhere else in the world. That's why we are where you are.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Autonomy and the way forward. The THA, acting on behalf of the people of Tobago, has advocated for significant constitutional reform to increase Tobago's authority over its own internal affairs. The primary intent of this reform is to formally acknowledge Tobago's unique identity, sovereignty, while at the same time preserving the unity and sovereignty of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. I say again, we must stand side by side, side by side. My government stands firm in its commitment to Tobago's right to meaningful self-government and self-determination with a strong and united republic. My government, as I say, I do not see this as a favor being granted to you. This is not a handout, it's not a favor, but it's a duty that is honored and is grounded in equality, in respect and shared purpose, side by side. Tobago must have the freedom to shape its development while remaining a full and valued part of the national family. This autonomy is not separation. It is participation with power, backed by predictable funding, joint planning, and transparent governance that treats Tobago's priorities as national priorities. Our goal is simple and enduring. One republic, two islands, one people moving forward together in trust, in dignity, in purpose, toward a common prosperous future. These proposed constitutional amendments are designed to achieve several objectives. Let's start. One, to grant Tobago legislative, Chief Secretary, legislative and executive control over issues related to Tobago's internal development. Further, to give the THA the authority to establish a governance structure adapted to the island's specific needs. Yet further, to secure fiscal autonomy for Tobago, including a fair and equitable share of national revenues. And further, to establish clear dividing lines regarding the jurisdiction and responsibilities of the central government and the THA. These are just some of the issues.
Well, to give some perspective on what we just heard, and of course tell us as to the mood and the sentiment there via the visit. Yes, the first official visit of Prime Minister Kamala Persaud-Bissessor in her second term. We welcome Minority Leader of the THA, Kelvin Morris. He joins me on the Zoom line. Great to see you. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you, Jason. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago, wherever you may be taking in this interview this morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Now, you were there in the assembly yesterday. I saw you seated there in close proximity to Mr. Duke. What was your take on the mood, the sentiment? Was there a sense of optimism after that most, I would say, very important address by the Prime Minister to the Assembly yesterday?
Well, first to note, this visit by the Prime Minister came 6 months after her inauguration as Prime Minister. And, you know, a lot of Tobagonians were wondering whether the Prime Minister considered herself Prime Minister of both Trinidad and Tobago, and why it took so long for her to visit the other half of this twin island republic. And therefore, the visit was indeed welcome. But what the maneuverings we witnessed in the Assembly Legislature yesterday, I, for one, I'm not unsurprised, nor was I impressed. I remain unsurprised and unimpressed because at the end of the day, we have seen this playbook before in Tobago. And for many of you, you would recall in 2013, the UNC always finds a partner, a proxy in Tobago as to extend its opposition of the People's National Movement nationally. And therefore, in 2013, they had found Mr. Ashworth Jack and the TOP. And the only thing that has changed in 2025 is that it's the same game, different players. They have now found a proxy in Farley and the TPP. And we knew that they would come to Tobago and pretend to be bearing gifts. But at the same time, it is really a distraction to assist the TPP with their failed governance, failure to account to the Tobago people, and failure to be transparent with the people of Tobago. And, you know, I for one, as a Tobagonian, reject the UNC's attempt to continuously use this issue of autonomy as a political football. We are fed up of it. You would recall last December, the UNC had the perfect opportunity to show their love and support for the people of Tobago, because everything that the Prime Minister described as to what the average Tobagonian desire when it comes to autonomy and its authority to govern itself was in fact included in the very bills that they rejected. We had a fair share, guaranteed share of 6.8% as a minimum allocation for the people of Tobago. We had the ability to make our own laws for the good governance of the people of Tobago. So I heard the Chief Secretary talking about the inability to implement the Boko Reef Marine Park bill that was sent to Trinidad. We would have had the opportunity to treat with that bill right in the Tobago legislature had the Chief Secretary not conspired with this current Prime Minister and the UNC to derail and reject those bills.
Well, let me ask, because I'm looking at the close relationship, very warm, very chummy, that relationship between the Chief Secretary and the Prime Minister. So much so, we have seen a way greater allocation via the budget towards Tobago. Mind you, we would have had under PNM, the party you represent, 2 MPs and a Prime Minister from the sister isle. So it baffles me that UNC came in and was able to, again, whether it's optics, whether it's, you know, part of a greater strategy, give Tobago a little bit more. We are seeing a bigger working relationship. And mind you, all this is happening on the heels of the Assembly going to be suspended. It's going to expire December 6th, and it's clearly an election looming. I don't know if you're already into election mode. And when we look at the election, the last THA election, about 51,000 plus were registered. Just about 29,000 plus went out to vote, which represents 57% of the voter turnout. Do you believe this relationship, the optics of the moment, will lean more in the favor of the TPP and clearly that collaboration with the Prime Minister and the UNC, and it will put, I would imagine, PNM and all opposition parties there at a disadvantage? Your take on the current political climate?
So, Jason, as I said, Tobagonians are very discerning people, and therefore Tobagonians do not treat well with mamagism and political theatrics. And as I said, in 2013, we would have seen these same plays happening, these political gymnastics happening in the space. The UNC at that time tried to rush a Tobago autonomy bill, promising Tobagonians 8%, etc. They were busy undermining the THA, attempting to do all manner of things and giving goodies to Tobagonians. They started to give out hampers, etc. And while Tobagonians accepted what they could get from them, and we continue to encourage Tobagonians, whatever they bring, take it, because it is public funds, it belongs to you, the taxpayer. But at the same time, Tobagonians rejected them out of hand, placing the governance of Tobago at that time in the People's National Movement overwhelmingly 12-0. And I expect that come in the very near future, because the Assembly is in fact due an election. You would recall that the last election was held on December 6th, and traditionally in Tobago, under the PNM, elections are usually held as close to the date of the last THA dissolution. And therefore, this current administration is already signaling that they will go beyond their time, because once you don't dissolve the House before 60 days before, then an election cannot happen. And therefore, we expect that election will be sometime in February, latest, very early in March. And so Tobagonians understand that these are all political gamesmanship. And Tobagonians are a people, as I said, that treat very harshly with people trying to take them for fools. The UNC rejected a bill, as I said, 6.8%, and gave Tobago only 5%, gave Tobago $2.9 billion, when we were in fact entitled to $4 billion. So it meant that as much as they're talking about giving Tobago more, Tobago actually received $1 billion less. And Tobagonians are quite aware of this sellout and the betrayal of Farley, because over the last 4 years, Farley, by his actions, by rejecting those Tobago bills, would have denied Tobagonians over $5 billion. And therefore, for the Tobagonian, the farmer who is unable to get grants to expand his farm, for the fisherman who cannot buy a boat engine, for the mother who is unable to basically get a grant, to the young professional that cannot get a house, they all recognize that the person who is responsible for their inability to improve their life is no other than this failed Chief Secretary, Mr. Farley Chavez Augustine.
Are there any initiatives mentioned yesterday they've made you smile, you feel optimistic, you welcome? I mean, I'm seeing the call for the Tobago police force, that on that kind of municipal style. I would have heard that from Mr. Griffith earlier. We're hearing of fiscal autonomy, lots of promises, laptops for the children, right? The license, the license that they could export. I mean, lots was said yesterday. Lots of utterances and promises. Any at all warm the heart, Kelvin? Be honest with me.
As I said, we expected, and I was unsurprised as to the political gamesmanship and the goodies that were placed. But UNC has always presented itself as a party that is very deceiving and deceitful, and and disingenuous as well. And therefore, whatever the UNC gives to you, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. For example, the license, the export license, while very well welcome, we have a situation in Tobago where the current SPEL board has mismanaged the quarry in such a way that we move from a situation where truckers were able to get a predictable supply of aggregate to a situation where truckers are unsure whether they can get even a minimum of 2 loads. And if you are unable to supply aggregate just to meet local consumption, how then will you be in a position to export? Because you first have to have the raw material, and you have to have it in a quantity that makes sense to be able to export. And the current management of SPEL, they have mismanaged that quarry to the point that it is in financial ruins. And then you look at the other goodies that were mentioned. For example, the police, the local constabulary, that local police establishment. If they were serious about granting to Tobago a local police force, why was there's no allocation in the budget for that? So how will that be funded? And why wasn't that mentioned in the Minister of Finance's allocation? There's a situation that is on the horizon in Tobago at this point. And I told Tobagonians, this visit is really a distraction, because we have something also, an extension of the CPEP and URP in Tobago. And while we know that URP and CPEP has been shut down in Trinidad, the Prime Minister has described it as modern-day slavery recently. And therefore, if that is the national policy, it means based on even the Tobago House of Assembly Act, the national policy based on Section 75 supersedes and takes precedent over any local policy. And if as a national policy, the government has signaled its intention to disband CPEP and disband CIP and URP, it therefore means it's just a matter of time that that policy will take effect in Tobago, and that means over 2,000 Tobagonians are now sweating, worried as what is to come after the elections, because we know that the compromise that the THA would have made with the central government is to hold their hand until after the election, and they will do the inevitable, because we looked at length as to whether there was any allocation for CPEP and URP, and in the actual financial statement, there was no allocation. So while the UNC pretends to give in one hand, the UNC is in fact destroying and taking and putting pain on the lives of average Tobagonians, as they have done in Trinidad, where we have seen thousands and thousands of our most vulnerable put on the breadline without any care, without any replacement as to something better.
I want to take it back really quick before we wrap up to what would transpire after the expiration, which we would have mentioned is December 6th. You told me this morning was news to me, and I guess I'm happy that we are able to have these discussions, that it might extend more than likely, go into next year for the THA election. You said February, probably early March. Yeah. Is it that you're already in campaign mode, Calvin? Are you canvassing? Are you knocking the doors already? Because when they ring the bell, it's going to be a quick sprint to that finish line. And I know in the Tobago space, it's not just a TPP, PDP, and PNM race. We have so many other parties that step in. Dr. Denise, Sonified Angus, you have Nkosi, independent people stepping in.
Yes, independents.
Yeah, a couple of players, well, a couple of options. And if it's only just 29,000 people came out the last time, I mean, there are options in Tobago. So walk me through, what's the mindset right now? Are you in campaign mode?
Definitely. Well, the People's National Movement, led by former Chief Secretary Ms. Ansel Dennis, we have been doing our work. As a matter of fact, we have screened very early for candidates, people who are community-oriented, but at the same time have the capacity to contribute to the development of Tobago. And we have selected all our candidates already. These candidates are already out in the communities, interacting, engaging, and also implementing some of their vision for the enhancement and the development of the community. So just Monday, as a matter of fact, the party launched our community conversations, where we are basically interacting with Tobagonians, reassuring them that our policy will be a Tobago first policy, where we ensure that all that we do, the policies we create, are to redound to the benefit of the average Tobagonian, whether you are a farmer in Charlottesville or a young professional in Scarborough or a tourism enthusiast in Crown Point. We, as the People's National Movement, we would have done the internal consultations. We have a bold, bright, new vision to reimagine a Tobago that can, in fact, fulfill what the Chief Secretary has been touting to be the greatest little island on the planet.
Calvin Morris, all the best. Thanks for touching base. And we will, I'm sure, get a chance to, before the end of 2025, God spare, chat again. All the best.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great one.
That's right. The minority leader, THA, Calvin Morris, touching base with us. Of course, we move into another important conversation. TTIVF, Dr. Catherine Minto-Bain, back with me, a very important talking point. And if you're planning a baby in 2026, well, this is definitely our conversation. I want you to chime in on listening, and we'll give you all the necessary information. Dr. Catherine Minto-Bain up next.
Growing your food business begins here at Southern Food Basket Wholesale Distribution Center. The turnaround is fast, from container to cold storage to pickup trucks. And when we deliver, product integrity is maintained with our highly respected vehicle-powered chilling systems. So come on down to Southern Food Basket Wholesale Distribution Center, where a whole new experience awaits.
Make home yours every day with Courts. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, ooh, oh, oh. Get value for your money. Ooh, oh, oh. Courts have the best quality. Home is what you make it. Best prices and good credit. Oh, Courts have it all.
Courts has what you need to make home yours. You can get it all with easy payment plans using Courts Ready Finance. Courts, make home yours.
Folks, take a look at all these medical conditions. What does it have in common? This, ITIS. But what does ITIS really mean?
The suffix itis denotes inflammation of a specified organ or tissue.
ITIS really means inflammation. How do we combat chronic inflammation? Through lifestyle changes. Then, and only then, make sure you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids.
Always consult a qualified medical professional before starting any supplements.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Don't forget, we are Food Basket Superstore right here in Arima. Come see for yourself. From stationery to household items and so much more right here at Food Basket Superstore in Arima.
I really love the variety. There's something for everyone here.
Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. Special big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop, Sumitomo, and Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasance Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
Guys, how do you rate your performance in the bedroom? Performance matters. With just one daily dose of Vital Dur, you'll rev up your libido. Vital Dur's blend of natural superfoods to boost energy and increase sex drive. Get your bottle of Vital Dur now.
Well, I mean, Dr. Catherine Minto-Bain is asking, how do you get up so early? It's a labor of love. I'll tell you this. It's a labor of love. And, you know, I get up because I get to enjoy conversations with people like yourself, Doc. I mean, I say this sincerely. I've learned so much during our IVF discussion. Some of the fears, what was the right word there? You know, there's so much misconceptions.
Misinformation, misunderstandings.
Oh, boy, yes. And, you know, we have these frank, open discussions every single week, and more or less we're planning now for 2026 for those looking to start their family. Welcome as always, Doc. Great to see you.
JW, thank you. And I would say this really helps people. I can't tell you the number of people who come into the clinic earlier than before, and what we've said here really has made a difference to help them get the treatment that they need. It makes a big difference.
So where does one start? I guess it will the first ball will be the consultation, calling, and just at least having the conversation.
Yes, well, let's talk about if you want a baby for 2026. Some people are not going to need to come into the clinic, but there's some really good advice. I can kind of think of 4 things for anyone who's thinking, okay, I think things are fine for me. I would like my baby in 2026. What's some good advice there? So good advice really is 4 things. Number 1, what you put in your body, what you eat, is what your body is. It's so important. So thinking about a good, healthy diet. Everybody knows what we should be doing, plenty of fruits and veg, but I don't think people realize the bad things in soft drinks and fast foods and industrial fats in some processed foods. So diet, the bad things, smoke and alcohol, shouldn't be doing them. Sleep,
especially when you're pregnant, I would imagine that's a no-no.
Especially when you're pregnant, but actually it has huge implications before pregnancy
Even
as well.
prior to the pregnancy.
Yeah. So smoking and alcohol are not good before pregnancy. And then mental health and stress. Those are the kind of 4 key things to think about when you're thinking, okay, I'd like a baby.
Any extra steps, let's say, on well, let's start with the women. They carry a major part of that. I mean, they are the stars of that particular experience, carrying the baby 9 months. Of course, the dads, we have our role and function, too, very important role and function. But let's start with the woman. Any extra steps, any advice in that regard for the woman, and then we move on to the man?
Yeah, so when you're thinking about women, you think folic acid. If you're wanting a baby 3 months before, ideally, you should get on a supplement that has folic acid in it. And that's because it helps the skull and the spine develop properly. And it's the one supplement that's proven to make babies healthier. It reduces spina bifida, little defects in the skull and spine. So folic acid, very important when you're trying to conceive for women.
And for the men, I would imagine that advice for the easing on the smoking and all the luxury items, they should ease on that too if they're looking to become a dad in 2026.
And I think that's the conversation that we haven't had before, that people don't know, is that men's health actually has a huge impact on the health of that baby. So we're talking about those 4 things, but really, you think about the woman and being unhealthy, and that can affect her baby. But for guys, it's actually data showing it's the same thing. So if a guy is drinking as his partner is conceiving a baby, that baby is more likely to miscarry. I don't think people realize that. And the higher amount of alcohol that man is taking in, the higher the risk of miscarriage. It can go up to 5 times higher. So alcohol use in the man is very much linked to what's going to happen to his baby, because alcohol affects sperm quality. And then smoking. If a man smokes around the time his partner is conceiving, it's not just a higher risk of sudden infant death syndrome, which I think most people have probably heard of, but again, more problems for the baby. It's not just if he smokes around her when she's pregnant, but when she conceives. A guy who smokes is more likely to have a low birth weight baby, more problems in the pregnancy. And those babies actually go on to have more problems later in life when they become children and adults. So guys, what you are doing now, the health of your baby, the health of this, it really is very interlinked with your health and the health of your sperm.
So let's say you've done a deep dive into what you just mentioned, the luxury items there. It's really hard for you to quit, even though that's the advice today, that your mind's stronger than that, and you can get over anything that holds on to you. So that's given. But for those who might be struggling, for those who might not be able to get over the line, for those who might have a particular issue beyond the smoking, the drinking, and let's say the dietary issues, what can be done? How can they even start to get to that line of looking to start their family in 2026? So we'll be treating with those people who might have a particular issue and they just want to confirm, or at least they want to get some advice or help to stop some of what they're doing on the vice side of things.
That's when you come into the clinic. And I think for anyone who's worried about their fertility or wants to improve their fertility, that's where you come into a fertility clinic. And the first step is a free nurse appointment. And they can talk you through strategies to help you, helping stop smoking, talking about alcohol, doing a test on your sperm, getting that, just know your numbers. So TTIVF is very good on that. You just call up, you book that free appointment, you come into the clinic. And for men, there's a lot we can do. So we'll run through your health, any medication you're on, and give you general advice and get a sperm test organized. And for women, there's some good basic starting tests to get your baseline. And then there are some people that should come in, really straight away. 1 in 6 couples is suffering with infertility, and that's something you come to the clinic straight away.
I know what was mentioned, some of the procedures will have a cost attached. So if you just run through and just identify to me and the audience what would be on a pro bono, what would be free when it comes to the nurse's visit?
Yeah, so it's talking and it's explaining. It's a half an hour session with a nurse, listening to your medical history, going through things with you, giving you an idea of what tests might be helpful for you, looking at what you've done before and saying, okay, well, you've done this before, you've done that, and giving you some general advice. They help with timing of sexual intercourse. They help identify the people that actually may need to go into IVF quickly or IUI. So they're very experienced coordinators for the fertility clinic.
You piqued my interest there. I think we never really elaborated on the timing. When is the best time? I know there's always this particular magic moment within the woman's cycle, usually somewhere midway.
So actually, it really depends. Eggs grow at different rates in different women, and it's not one size fits all. And that's why we say come to the clinic and talk about the timing, because we look at your cycle. A lot of people use apps, but they can be quite inaccurate. The nurse will have a look at your cycle, and there's some information sheets to say, okay, well, if your cycle is this length, the egg is probably coming out around this time, and you should be sexually active a day before, because you want sperm there ready and waiting for the egg when it comes out. So it's actually a little bit more complicated than it's just day 14 or in the middle of the month. And if anybody wants some advice on that, come and have a look at our website. We have a blog there about timing.
Yeah, because I know timing is important, and as you rightfully said, so many apps will show, okay, this is the you're ovulating this time and stuff, and then you will know when is a safe time, you know. So I think, as you rightfully said, it's best is just to come in and have that conversation and get some advice.
And I would say that some people leave it far too long. So apps are great if you've been trying 2 or 3 months and you're really wanting to get that baby and you just want some help looking at your fertile time if you're a woman. Really and truly though, if you've been trying more than 6 months and you're over 35, it should have happened and you should be in the fertility clinic getting some tests. If you're under 35, men, women, we say, listen, a year. If everything seems to be going well, you try a year, but you don't leave it longer than that, then you come in and get some medical advice. People come in at 4 years, 5 years, and that's, I think, the biggest problem in TNT, leaving it too long.
As we wrap things up in the seconds that remain, your closing remarks, Dr. Minturmain.
So I really think if you're thinking of that baby for 2026, just put some thought into being healthy, cutting back, don't smoke, don't drink, cut that out for 3 months before you're trying to conceive. Your baby will be healthier. And don't forget, if you're struggling or you're worried, the fertility clinic really is the place to come along and get some advice. It's very simple to get a sperm test done. It's very simple to get some blood tests done, see a nurse, have a discussion. And it's really just taking that first step.
Medical Director of TTIVF, Dr. Catherine Minturmain, touching base with us on this Wednesday morning. All the best, Doc, and we will chat soon.
Very soon, yes.
Yes, indeed. We come back and continue within the realm and the discussion regarding, health and well-being. Up next, we get some details regarding the National Health Research Conference that's happening at the Hyatt Regency Tuesday, 25th November. Full details after the break.
Food basket, nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic for everyday low price. Things real nice. Come in once, but to come back twice. Wholesale, retail, everything for you. A remush, a wash, a flag of you. Food basket, the nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. Food basket. Marketplace shook on us, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
PRW's Thanksgiving sale is now on this November. We're giving thanks to God and all of our local customers. Up to 75% discount on selected items. Join us for our Family Fun Day on the 4th of November at or around West location. Come, have a fun day with us and enjoy refreshments, free giveaways, games, and massive discounted prices. Tell your family and friends. Call us today at 285-9779.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Well, I'm so happy to be joined this morning with two truly amazing medical professionals. One is the co-chair of the committee here, and we're treating with the National Health Research Conference. So we have our co-chair, Dr. Samantha Glasgow. Doc, great to see you.
Thank you for having me here.
That's right. And the chair of the marketing and promotion. We welcome Dr. Dave Cassie. Dr. Cassie, good morning to you.
Thank you.
Indeed, the ball is rolling. All is in place. Hyatt Regency, Tuesday, 25th. And I want to get some details as to start time, how can one attend, and who more or less is the target audience for this truly tremendous conference. I'll start with you, Dr. Glasgow.
Okay, so we are having our 6th annual National Health Research Conference, as you said, on Tuesday, 25th of November at the Hyatt Regency. And the conference really targets medical practitioners, laboratory specialists, RHA personnel, Ministry of Health officials, Ministry of Education, health policy makers, climate change advocates, researchers, university staff and students, educators, and the general public who are interested in research.
How does one, or at least based on the experience of the conference over the years, the discussions, the discourse, the networking that takes place, how does it strengthen the culture within the medical field? You've seen in real time some results in that regard. I'll probably bring Dr. Cassie in on this one.
Right. Well, I would probably want to say that the conference itself provides a platform for evidence-based practice. So what we present are research findings, and by the way, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm actually a doctor of education. Education leadership is my background.
Yes.
But at the helm of every institution, there would be leadership. So Samantha, of course, and I are leaders within this framework. But to come back to your question, so we're presenting via this platform research findings from indigenous research in health in Trinidad and Tobago as it relates to climate change impacts on public health.
That's right.
So, and that is very topical, you would imagine, because of course we have a lot of again, throughout the world there have been quite a lot of conferences that are focusing on climate change and its impacts on public health.
And I would imagine it's going to foster collaboration because, as I mentioned, the networking part of it, very important to ensure that, as you said, data-driven, data-based.
Yes.
And I would imagine the ultimate goal is for improvement in the space best practice.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So the conference provides participants with the opportunity because, first of all, we are working almost as if we are in silos. We have our different institutions, academic institutions, and sometimes we're not aware of what each other is doing in the same field, in the same topical area. And so the conference allows us to be in the same space, to first hear what's happening in other areas, and then it also allows us to perhaps network to collaborate on research, similar research interests.
So public and private sector key players and actors would be in attendance.
Correct, yes. Especially with regards to the private sector, particularly with our sponsors. So we're not just dealing with medical practitioners, but persons who offer health services of any kind or who are involved in offering those indirect services. They are also with us in the room and can benefit.
Is there pre-registration involved, Dr. Cassie? Walk me through how could one attend?
Okay, so one can attend by actually logging onto our website. healthresearchconference.tt.com. Registration is open. We have only delegate spaces right now at $800. And we are also, I would want to add that prior to this conference, we're actually having a youth forum, a virtual youth forum, which is actually free of charge. What we're trying to also encourage is that youth participation in the topic. So you would see actually when you go onto the website as well to register for the youth forum, you would actually just go onto the website and /Youth Forum 2025.
I'm actually seeing the Youth Forum on screen there, and I'm seeing our very own Brew.
Yes.
Is he on the panel or hosting?
Yes, he's the panel. He's one of the panelists along with Samantha Rampasad, who is the Trinidad Tobago CARICOM Youth Ambassador.
And I'm seeing Colleen Hossein on
And Colleen is going to be there as well as part of the moderator, as well as giving his insights into the topic.
Our climate,
so that's
our future. I love the theme.
Yes. So we have encouraged secondary schools. We've invited a few secondary schools across Trinidad and Tobago to bring their views on this topic because climate change and public health is impacting everyone. And we also want to be proactive in involving youth participation. So we're hoping through the experiences of our esteemed panelists there that we can encourage youth to get involved into topics like these. And again, in the long term, things that relate to health.
You know, such an important engagement. So the youth element, that's happening on this Friday.
This Friday, the 7th of November.
And then we fast forward to Tuesday, the 25th.
Yes.
I know there's going to be an international component. Tell me who's going to log in online, who's going to be giving a virtual presentation in the conference.
Right, so we have our keynote speaker. He is Dr. Daniel Buss, and he's the head of climate change and environmental determinants of health at the Pan American Health Association. So he's going to be there to share his expertise via video conferencing. We also have, as another distinguished speaker, our featured speaker for the afternoon period would be our Lifetime Achievement Awardee. In the past, we have had persons like Dr. Dan Ramdath, who is currently the director and adjunct professor at Guelph Research and Development Center in Canada. And so we look forward to similar persons of that caliber.
Dr. Cassie, who are some of the key stakeholders making the conference possible for 2025?
Certainly. We want to really appreciate the alignment of Guardian Group with our efforts as a platinum sponsor. We also appreciate Rio Med Limited and Bride and Pie, two of our gold sponsors, and thus far we've also had commitments from TSTT as well as EBSCO hosts. And certainly these organizations would have come on board because they saw the importance of aligning themselves with what we are about to do for Trinidad and Tobago via this conference.
Indeed. So as we wrap things up, again, and I thank you so much for the clarification. So Dr. Cassie, you're a doctor of papers.
Yes.
Yes, and you are a medical?
No, I'm not. I'm also Dr. Papers.
Well, let me tell you, you all have a doctor swag, you know, like a medical doctor.
The thing about it is that I work in health administration.
Yes, and I've actually taught nursing students at the University of the Southern Caribbean.
So we teach medical professionals, but we are not.
We mold
the glasses, you know, and the whole demeanor, you know. Wow, yes. But amazing, and I'm happy that clearly the conference is on. Any chance for professionals to network, to share information, as you rightfully said, so important. Too many times we operate in silos.
Yes.
And there's not that sharing, and it's ultimately to save lives and to make people's well-being, paramount importance. So listen, kudos. Let's put the information up one more time as we officially pull the curtains down. Let's start with the youth engagement this Friday, team, and after that we'll go to the conference. So this is the youth engagement, right? Anyone who wants to, again, just remind me if you want to log in, what's going on?
You simply just go onto the website, healthresearchconference.tt.com /Youth Forum, and you just click register, sign up for the virtual forum, and you can join us on Friday. And it's free.
Excellent.
That forum is free.
So we go now to Tuesday the 25th, the big one.
Yes, the big one. Yes, registration is open. You could simply, again, join us. Either scan the QR code or flip onto the website and register.
The National Health Research Conference 2025. Congrats in advance. I know it's going to be a tremendous success. Any closing remarks in the seconds that remain?
We just want to encourage persons to come out and to learn about what is impacting our health system and how you can be a part of change through research. and evidence-based practice.
Indeed. Dr. Cassie, your final words?
Certainly, I would say I want to encourage youth involvement because it really starts with the young ones to make an impactful change for health for the future.
Well said.
And of course, come on and register for November the 7th as well as November 25th for the conference.
I would imagine this is a professionally dressed kind of fair blazer. Yeah, what you recommend?
Yes, professional attire.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes, of course. You know, I mean, it's Hyatt. It's going to be a day into the afternoon session. You'll do a little cocktail after?
We have refreshments, we have lunch, we have the participants are always well fed and satisfied.
Well, yeah. I would imagine so. I would imagine. Oh my goodness, guys! Thank you so much for sharing the morning with me as we look to pull the curtains down on yet another informative program. It's a pity we didn't get to do the calls today. Time was a bit tight inside the second hour. We will try our very best tomorrow, if not Friday, so you could bring in your commentary on the leading stories of the day. Well, that's it for me. We're going to pull the curtains down. God spare, I'm back for more tomorrow right here. So again, sincere thanks for tuning in and hope you have yourself, TNT, a safe and productive day. All the best.
Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.
You're watching CNC3. The views and opinions